Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over everything that I like and don't like about the new Ram 2500 Cummins with the Rebel package. Before we get into this video though, as always, if you're going to save time and money the next time purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. The first thing that I like is the looks. Now this is seriously a good looking truck. I love the new sport hood there with all of the venting. And then this has the Power Wagon front end with like the Power Wagon grille and bumper and everything. And then with like the cab lights there at the top, I think it looks cool. And then I'm actually a big fan of these new trailer mirrors. Some people say they aren't a fan, but I think that overall they look good. And then you can see those big fender flares and the off-road tires. Like this is just a good looking truck. The first thing that I don't like is the plastics. So if we take a closer look, you guys can see lots of plasticky stuff happening here on the front end, which I'm not necessarily opposed to a truck maker using plastic, because if something gets damaged, well, it's a lot easier and cheaper to replace plastic than it is with painted parts typically. But I don't know, I feel like they could have gone for a little bit different on the coloration, because it just like, it looks like a toy with some of the parts, as you can see. And then with the interior, it's so mixed, because like you have beautiful leather, and then right next to it, you just have like obvious hard touch plastic. And so, you know, maybe they could calm down a little bit the plastic, or maybe just kind of change the appearance so that it, I guess, looks less plasticky. Now, the number two thing that I like is actually the interior. So despite the fact that this uses a little bit too much plastic, overall, I mean, this has the interior from the Ram Limited. And so it's beautiful, it's real leather all over. I mean, for a pickup truck, you got to remember, this is like a utility type vehicle. This is a really upscale, nice feeling interior. I mean, especially like, take a pickup truck from like 10 years ago, does not even compare to this. The second thing that I don't like is the cab. So for those of you that are longtime Ram fans, then you know that this new heavy duty still utilizes the 4th generation cab configuration for the crew cab, which is really frustrating. Not because it looks bad, because actually it looks completely fine, but because the space back here is okay, but it's not great, especially when you compare this to Ford and General Motors. This just doesn't really compete. Now, the new Ram 1500 has a bigger cab that does compete, but they still haven't put it with this new truck. Will they ever put it into the heavy duties? Time will only tell, but it's a downside. Now, the third thing that I like is this new Rebel package. So if you don't know what this new Rebel package is, it's basically an off-road package for the 2500, but it allows you to have the Cummins diesel. So you get like off-road shocks, off-road tires, all that, but you can still have a diesel powertrain, so you can still tow with the truck, which is awesome. And even though this isn't as capable as the Power Wagon, this is probably going to be a pretty popular truck, because if you look at the GMC Sierra AT4 and the Ford Tremor, those trucks sell amazingly well. Are you going to interrupt this video too? What is with you, cat? Anyways, if you look at those two trucks, they sell amazingly well, and they're about the same when it comes to capability as this, because rear lockers, off-road tires, all that kind of stuff. So this truck package, it's awesome, and I wish that Ram would have just released it earlier. Now, the number three thing that I don't like is the payload. So if you don't know, the Ram 2500 utilizes a multi-link setup in the rear, which makes it so the ride quality is better, because this has solid front and rear axles. But we have a payload capacity of 1,831 pounds, which, I mean, this is a diesel truck, so, you know, it's going to be able to tow somewhere in that like 16,000, 17,000 pound range. But then because you have a payload of 1,800 pounds, if you're towing a trailer that weighs that much, that's all you can do. You can't actually load anything up into the bed on top of towing the trailer. And so Ram really needs to figure out how to give this truck more payload, because if you look at Ford and General Motors, their trucks in this segment have a payload capacity in the 3,000 pound range, not in the 1,800 pound range. I mean, this is basically a half ton when you look at it from a payload perspective. Now, the fourth thing that I like is the new features. So for the 2023 model year, we have these new trailer tow mirrors. You guys can see they are fully extended out. And if I want to bring them in, just press that button right there, and then just press that. And, well, I guess I didn't. There we go. And then they'll pop right back in. So pretty cool, a lot easier to use than the flip up mirrors. But obviously some people will be like, one more thing to break. The next thing, we got this new digital gauge cluster, which is really cool, because you can make it show like a navigation screen and everything. And when you turn your turn signal, it turns on a camera automatically. So they've just added some new tech for the 23 model year that just makes the truck feel a little bit more modern. Now, the fourth thing that I don't exactly like is the diesel power. So with the Ram 2500, you only get the lower output version of the Cummins, which produces 370 horsepower and 850 pound-feet of torque, which, don't get me wrong, that is more than enough power and torque for a diesel truck. However, If you compare it to Ford and General Motors, you can get pretty impressive engines for the 2500 series trucks. With the Ford, you have a Power Stroke diesel that produces 475 horsepower and 1,050 pound-feet of torque. And then with General Motors, you now have a new Duramax for the 2024 model year that produces something like 470 horsepower, and then I think it's about, what, 975 pound-feet of torque. I might be off on the numbers a little bit. But anyways, more power and more torque with trucks that are in the same segment. And so the Ram 2500 is cool, but it looks underpowered. And then on top of that, again, the lower payload capacity compared to those trucks, it's making this truck look less appealing than the other trucks for actual truck stuff. And then the fifth and final thing that I like about this truck is the engine. Now, I know that I just complained about the diesel powertrain being underpowered, but I still absolutely love the Cummins. I love the reliability of this powertrain. I love how it sounds, and I love how it feels when you drive it. However, like I said, I do think that they could improve things a little bit, give this engine a little bit more power, and frankly, a more, I guess, modern transmission. This 6-speed does a pretty good job, but if they had like a more modern 8-speed or something like that, that was just quicker to shift, a little bit smoother, I think that buyers would definitely appreciate that. And again, the fact that we can finally get a Cummins in an off-road package with the Ram, it's really cool. And so overall, I love the powertrain, and you know, I'm excited to see what Ram does with it over the next couple of years to make it just a little bit more competitive with Ford and General Motors. Now, the fifth and final thing that I don't like is the price. So this truck, as equipped, stickers for $91,000. And again, this is a 2500 with a limited interior and then basically an offered package on the exterior, which is a very nice pickup truck. But $91,000, like, it is absolutely insane. Now, it does need to be said that most Ram dealers at this point are basically offering like invoice pricing on trucks because availability with Rams has increased drastically since the pandemic. And so I doubt that anyone's actually gonna be paying that $91,000 sticker price, but still, like, the prices have gone out of hand. Most people that have seen this truck, and I'm not trying to like offend Ram too much by saying this, but most people that have seen this truck have said, hey, oh, that's great, but how much is it? And I say 91,000, and they go, that looks like a $70,000 truck. And so I think that, you know, Ram has just priced this a little bit too high, and so maybe they should just pull back slightly. But you know what? Who knows? It's still a pretty hot market overall, and so maybe they'll sell out of them, and, you know, my whole spiel about the price just is not important. So overall, the new 2023 Ram Heavy Duty is a really cool pickup truck. I absolutely love this new Rebel package. I think it looks fantastic. However, I do think that the truck is just slightly too expensive. So hopefully Ram kind of calms down on these price increases and maybe, you know, just comes down a little bit, because they frankly have priced a lot of people out of the market for the product at this point. But aside from that, I like the new changes. I love the new trailer mirrors. I love the new digital gauge cluster. It looks a lot better in person. Usability with it is so good. And so I think a lot of you guys will really like it. And then I guess the only other thing that's really big for me is they just need to give us the new cab. Like, if they kept the powertrain the same, even though I think that it would definitely benefit from having a more modern transmission, but if they kept that the same and just gave us a slightly larger cab, I think that a lot of people would absolutely love that. I can't talk for some reason, but that's going to sum things up for this video. Let me know what you guys think about this new truck. I'll see you.